Good, because it's all scripted so that we can all say exactly what we need to, and it'll all be good, wholesome fun. All right.
There is no script.
I've got to share my screen. Once I share it, you might be able to. You see it now?
Yes.
All right. We're going to start off with the Commander Darren Spider, that's Zaz, and his cousin Larton Crepsley Spider, that's Lee, and their friend Spider Balloon Manticore, which is Natalie. I've helpfully titled it with the names of our characters. And action.
Cecil.
Chief
Dynamical
Engineer.
Cecil.
Princeton.
Cecil.
Envious traitor. Cecil.
Power of the Terwilligers. Cecil has an opera task.
Cecil.
Liquid nitrogen.
Cecil.
Possible father of Neil. Cecil.
Mountain bike trail.
Gueta Oa, Guten Abend, and Bonsoir.
Good evening. Heck is empty and all the devils are here.
We are the antiquarians, Lauren M. Nightingale and Flimsy Rosewater. Where is Father Anton?
We lickers of dusty tomes located in the bowels of the disused stadium in Springfield Park and down the tunnels to the town hall of Lee.
Employed to put the Simpsons files into a spotty archive to haphazardly document the lives of Springfield's backwaters.
Haunted by an outside which it circles but can never fully acknowledge.
Thanks to our cousins, or cousins MIA, over at the MFIMDB for promoting the show. We are the professionals here and safe from all harm.
Lawrence M. Nightingale, allergic to shellfish, people, likes to avoid discovering personal info, has no blood, disdain for cabbage, distant cousin of Bigfoot, and owns a post office in Cork. What else do we need to know about you, Lawrence?
I once won a lifetime supply of Red Bull that I'm working through.
Flimsy Rosewater, ribbon aficionado with so many ribbons to choose from. My go-to ribbon this week is seam binding, typically used for hemming garments. Seam binding ribbon makes an unexpected present. Trimming materials, 100 yards supplies, affordable. And what's your name? Spider Balloon Mantiweb. Oh no, hold on. There's Natalie Balloon Manticore. Or some other, or it's a different alternate universe, I think. It's hard to say. But anyway, what do we need to know about you?
I'm from the land of make-believe.
Oh, I see. Like a fantasy island or something.
Yes.
Like a storybook world.
There'd be dragons.
Oh.
How many dragons do you own?
No, there's only dragons on the island. That's it.
All right.
Wonder wild and free. Lawrence, please tell me you checked the circle.
The circle remains intact. The fortress to defend the operators mark the sigil. Oh, look, a spider in the dust. And he's got his little Roman centurion helmet and his shield and his red plumes and his little cheek guards and a spear dripping with the bluest of blood. Why are you guarding the salt?
Who knows? And Baroness Berry the Vale of Catmos, Hyperintendent, what do you know of free schools and multi-academy trusts and counter-extremism? The Baroness will not be interrupted. Oh, it's been hit and miss in the last decade. Meow.
And the ritual mice.
Magic queer folk mice, spiritual event in the Magic Daisy Circle, Fairy Circle, as well in a mouse hole, dressed as gnomon and medieval forest dwellers. We will burn you. We will smother you. We will rub you in ointment. Several tiny, cute pigs. And now you have a king carrying him. King? What is the king? Too fuzzy, magnifying glass. Human type with beard.
Oh, yes. Well, they're all busy in the corners of the room. And the fourth corner, I don't know what's in there. There's too much stuff. But what we have got, Zaz, is a letter from Kurt Vonnegut. If maybe if you could read that.
Excellent. Here we go. Derling Drake. Build a fire and gather round the tree. In antipsychotic, abandon the concept of only for this life we have hope in Christ. We are of all people most to be pitied.
Based on the comparative study of development for former Soviet republics, Estonia, Latvia, Ukraine and Kazakhs, let me expand on why success doesn't come from wealth, power, fame. Movement is what creates life. To be still and still moving. This is everything.
I am writing this letter today in glimpse practices. How can we work toward making natural awareness of our default state? The creatures reproduced by flaking. Her spirits were pretty high when she left Franzetti's office. Sympathy and self-pity before taking the final bow with a slow clapping. My seventh, this still me.
Switch.
My 7 children, a bluegrass group from Kentucky, cleaning agents and chemicals. I will find you, Jelly Bean Johnson. Love, Curtis.
So
Excellent.
I wonder if Drake will respond to that. But has he given you any messages recently?
Nothing in the last 6 weeks. He's taken a vow of silence out of spite.
Nice. So we're talking about Cecil Terwilliger, and
Yes, we are.
what is your so what about them cast connections, you two? Death, glasses, school, etc. What connections do you think this chap has to the other casters?
Out of those, he is he's the first one that's not really tied to any of them. Like,
He's like his own thing, isn't it? It seems to be like there's this whole like bubble when Cecil is involved.
a Cecil bubble.
A Cecil bubble.
Yeah,
But he's
it's a
not.
bubble.
There's no death, there's no glasses, no school.
Just prison put in there. Prison. There's nothing really prison with the other cast members, is there?
Not the ones that we've...
No.
No, maybe he's grown. He hasn't been brought back that often, and he has no love whatsoever.
So he's his own thing. He's his own individual thing, which is a good thing, surely. Cecil Underdunk Terwilliger, and now to kill you. There may be a slight ringing in your ears. Fortunately, you'll be nowhere near them. What do we need to know about Cecil Underdunk?
Why did you pick Cecil?
I liked his voice. That's literally the only reason. Like, I really enjoyed listening to him. It's soothing.
Nice. He is David Hyde Pierce as well, from Niles from Frasier, which is the big joke, isn't it?
You probably don't know this, but he's actually played by the guy from Frasier, Dr. Niles Crane.
Is he? That's surprising news.
The actor's name, I think, is Doogie Howser, the guy from Malcolm in the Middle.
still not him. It's David Hyde Pierce.
Oh yeah,
Who is famous for
Hasseltide.
Exactly. I think just for Frasier.
I've not seen him in anything else that I
No.
can think of.
No. Musical friendship employee.
What does that mean?
Don't know. Son of Neil Terwilliger. No, he's father of Neil Terwilliger.
Yeah, I also don't understand. I've not seen any reference to him having a child, and I've watched the content I needed to.
Cecil spent, according to Bob, 4 years at Clown College, to which Cecil replies, I'd thank you not to refer to Princeton that way.
Yes, I'd almost made it in. There was a full Bob and Cecil argument, but as you can see, we have a lot of content.
He's hinted to be gay by calling Mo beautiful, and also by being the same guy as the guy off Friends, Frasier.
Exactly. I also don't know what that reference is.
He may have
As
called
far as I can tell, he's in 3 episodes.
Oh, a lot of
That is
bongo.
it.
Envious
There is a lot.
traitor.
Envious traitor.
Yes, so in the villains wiki, he's called an envious traitor. The villains wiki has lots of sub-villain sets. He's in the sub-villain set of envious traitor.
I would agree with that. I think he's not a villain really, except for when it comes to Bob. It seems like up until that point he was living a good life, but the parents are also villains, so I think it's just a somewhat villainous household.
Sounds like it, doesn't it? His birthday is May the 18th, 1973.
That's a weird fact to have.
Who knows how we would know such a thing? Cecil planned to freeze Bart and Lisa in liquid nitrogen.
Yes, he did. We cover that, I think. That bongo I gave is very chopped up as well. I like a lot of things about Cecil. They are as follows. It's a pretty obvious ploy at the time to... Frasier must have been in the height of its popularity at that point. Like this, the big episode he's in is like 98, something like that. And I think Frasier was on to like 2002 or something. But it's sort of, this is the same season as the X-Files episode. And that season was when they started interacting. It was more of like a Fox, or in England, like a Sky thing, like connecting all the shows together.
Oh, yeah.
But Frasier was not on that channel.
No, but they still brought him in there. According to director Pete Michaels, it was difficult to draw Bob and Cecil standing together because their feet are both so big.
Yeah, I thought that. I don't know why they needed to keep it up with Cecil. Obviously, it's a giant character trait for Bob, going back to his first appearance. So they always... they're quite good at keeping on top of stuff when someone rocks up once a season, like Bob or Kang and Koda. But it's when they, the day-to-day lives of people like Ned's wife that they can't keep on track.
Madge.
But to say Cecil's one of those characters who's had 3 TV show appearances, but is kind of well-known and popular.
There's a lot of art pops up later, but most of it is him fighting with Bob. So I think he gets a lot of Bob's shine.
I agree.
In the Simpsons Tapped Out game, you have to perform at the opera for 6 hours. Like all of the Terwilligers, Cecil too has an opera task. There is a mountain bike trail called Cecil Terwilliger.
Where?
Wherever this is. It's next to the Dale Hodges Park. You know where that is?
I do not.
Calgary, Alberta. It's only 1.2 kilometers long, which is not a particularly long bike ride.
Please consider it takes you how long? 6 minutes.
For a 1 kilometer bike ride that I can walk 1 kilometer in 6 minutes.
Please consider using the Cecil Terwilliger trail. It said something at the bottom then, and also said something about Sideshow Bob.
I will. But now is a section called I Don't Know, I Just Like Him. What appeals to you two, NBM and Zaz, about Cecil Terwilliger?
I like Cecil because of his kind voice. I also think it's a good design. I like the hair, that it's very... I can't think of any other characters with that hair.
Bob. What about Sideshow Bob?
But yeah, but he's got the Bob, like, shape, but it's small.
Small Bob. And it's not a Bob.
And it is not a Bob. So there's only... I think he only has 3 hair things, kind of like Homer, but with Bob's hair instead of Homer's.
He's like a normalized version of... He's like a normalized version of Sideshow Bob.
Who?
Cecil's like a normalized version of Sideshow Bob. He's like less wacky.
Yes, I agree, especially with his outfit. But the joke is obviously that he wanted to be the wacky one.
But he
like
wasn't.
Cecil is the one who wants to be the clown, and finds it's strange at all because there's no he has as much dignity as Sideshow Bob, but for some reason people keep telling him that he's it's not as funny for some reason, and it's mostly because Bob has a giant afro whilst trying to maintain this upper class. They both speak in that sort of American, well, it's Frasier, isn't it? But like American sophisticated sort of, they want to almost sound English.
Almost. But not quite. But the dad's English in the show, right? So they are English.
I don't think the dad's English in the show.
Was he not English in the show?
I think he is English.
But he's English, but he's pretending to be an American.
Yeah, because the dad in the show is like the opposite of them, isn't he? Like he's like the American.
What will they think of next?
Who knows?
A flying dog.
They do have a dog. Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of Frasier, but I can appreciate that it has its fan base.
I can't appreciate that. I couldn't get through more than 2 or 3 minutes of that show.
It's
like Friends with no characters and no jokes.
Yes, and more snark.
More snark. I don't need more snark. I want jokes from the sitcom, not snark.
Where are the jokes?
Natalie, why don't you tell us why do you like Cecil Terwilliger?
I don't know. Maybe it's the sibling relationship as well, like a sibling rivalry. I mean, I'm a sibling and you're a sibling. We know the feeling.
We're not siblings of each other, so that's why we can have this nice chat.
Yes, we have the individual experiences of different kinds of siblings as well. So I don't know. Maybe it's like the rivalry, the sibling. I like his voice. I just think it's so like soothing. I think, again, it's like the bubble as well. It's a different... Whenever there was a Bob episode or a Cecil episode, it was a separate thing, usually. Almost like a little universe within The Simpsons and like a break.
He's a great character. If they'd done a spin-off show, Bob would have been a top-notch choice.
Oh, I agree.
Hello.
Still time. Natalie, do you know that, you might not know this, but the guy who plays his brother in this show, he's also the brother of Frasier off television. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
No, really?
He's his brother in that show as well. I don't know if that's a coincidence.
It would be, it's a pretty weird coincidence, I think.
Well, chance in a million, isn't it?
Probably a bit more than a million.
What, 1.5 million? Chance in a million and a half. What list?
Yeah, they do milk it.
What rank is he?
I'm going to put him in D because even though he has only appeared a few times, they have been significant.
Unfortunately, Natalie Balloon Manticore had some business to attend to, so she's missing for the next 25 minutes of the podcast. But with some clever editing, you'll never be able to tell.
Fair enough. I agree with that. What do you think, Nigel Bongo Manticore?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Good shot.
Clip one, bongo one. So we have this clip, this initial clip. It's just got 4 pictures, and the first one is it's a very funny drawing of Cecil with some kind of weird makeup on his face, with his big shoes on.
Mummy, Daddy, look, I'm a clown.
Bob turns away and says,
Oh, please, Cecil. Your clown dreams are making you the laughing stock of the cul-de-sac.
then Bob does the classic rake thing, where he stands on like a toy thing that bops him in the face.
Smack.
And like he does in that Cape Fear one.
Rake like shutter noise.
He falls to the ground, and then there's laughter from somewhere.
Ha ha ha.
And the crying Cecil is shouting.
No, look at me, laugh at me.
And Bob is passed out with the gurgly burbles coming from his mouth. But it was a dream. And Cecil, in modern day Cecil, jumps up in his seat and says,
Gasp, what a dreadful flashback / nightmare. Oh well, back to evil.
Yeah, comedy gold for a start. Back to evil. This is taken from a relatively late bongo in the run of things, probably like a few years after Cecil had made his appearance, sort of fleshing out his backstory a bit. But this is essentially the same thing that happened in the first clip that we watched.
yes.
So
A bit being the operative term there.
yes, it is the exact same, but I thought it would be nice to see them as children. That Bob design as a child is super creepy.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a child at all.
No, he looks like he's got like a beer belly as well. And Cecil is wearing the same clothes, which is a trait that they just seem to do in bongo flashbacks. They don't think that anybody has ever changed the clothing across the space of their lives.
Recognizing traits from bongo flashbacks in itself is a noble aim.
Yes, we'll gather them all. But yeah, it's a good soft start.
It's a soft start. It gets us in. It lets us see what Cecil is. He wants to be a clown, but his brother Bob always gets to be the clown, and because of that, he's evil with a capital E.
Yes, he just wants to be noticed,
Yes.
Clip 2.
which is sad.
A brother from another series, season 8, episode 16. They're at Circus Krusty. Sidekick audition. Cecil is dressed as a clown. Next to him is Bob in a suit and a cane. Krusty in the distance with crew. 10 years ago caption. Thanks for driving me, brother, says Cecil. Thanks for driving me, big brother. These giant clown mitts are extremely hilarious, but they do make it difficult to shift gears. Bob Riley replies with, that's the title of Irma Bombeck's latest second episode in a row that mentions Irma Bombeck. Crush Scrolls, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Number 73, you're next. Krusty Growls, number 73, you're next. Make it with the laugh. Krusty, do we know his jaded group and his wide-eyed lady? I don't know. Cecil moves to the mic. There is a drum roll. Oh, clears throat. In dry English accent, he says, hey, children, meet me. Sideshow Cecil. Krusty groans. Oh, next. Cecil is shaking his hands. I prepared a pie in the face take. Krusty, head in hands, groans. Oh, go knock yourself out, kid. Ha! A pie flies across and hits Cecil on the side of the face. He barely moves. His hands are out. Krusty, free comedy tip, kid, he says angrily. The pie gag's only funny when the sap's got dignity. Like that guy, points to Bob, who already had huge shoes on. Pal, pie job for Lord Autumnbottom there. Fart noise, pie is launched, hits Bob. Hat flies off, hair explodes, bug eyes. Oh dear, says Bob as the hair flies out. Krusty and gang are in hysterics. Sad music. Cecil looks down. Time jump to today.
precisely. This really is the only motivation for Cecil throughout the show to be doing what he's doing, and he's not technically evil, really, outside of 2 appearances, and his track record for that is quite bad as well, because he's only had 2 plots to sort of vaguely hurt people, and he spent the rest of the series in prison, whereas Bob has, tries to murder someone once a year. So I see why he's sort of annoyed, and it's a strange but easy story to go for, isn't it? Like, they're both these sort of really sensible, sophisticated men, but they both end up in this sort of degrading clown world. And Bob, what doesn't make sense to me is why Bob took the job. Like, there must have been a part of it that Bob also enjoyed, but then that contradicts his character later on, who tries to change the Krusty show, or earlier on, depending on how you look at it. But I like that he's very just sort of like emotional, Cecil. He's not got that sort of like maniac side that Bob's got, like the sociopath side where he has no emotions. And
you know who it reminds me of? You ever seen the TV show Frasier? It's exactly the same as what they do on that, but it's two clowns.
Yes, it is the same, but
And
on
with
this
the
one they
murder.
are clown murderers.
It's like that show, but funny with clown murders.
Yeah, and they really milk it in this episode as well. Like, they use the music from Frasier at one point when it cuts back in, and it just says on the TV, it just says like Frasier is a hit show on this TV station NBC. And then the house is very Frasier. And it gets more Frasier because you meet Sideshow Bob's dad later on, and that is the dad from Frasier.
But the mum's in it, and who's she?
Tress MacNeille.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so they break that chain.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a good setup. You know, it's a funny one, and it sets up Cecil that he's an angry and he's very jealous. He's a jealous villain, but he's turned to villainy because of his brother's original support, which again turned to betrayal, I think.
That's sort of the sad thing with this as well, is it's not necessarily Bob's fault. Like, Bob hasn't really betrayed Cecil in the way that Cecil acts like he has. That's sort of why Bob in this episode is the hero and Cecil's the villain, because Bob, everything that's happened is sort of out of Bob's control. Like, yeah, he took the Sideshow job, but if he hadn't have taken the job, it clearly wouldn't have gone to Cecil.
That's not how psychopaths think, though, is it?
No, those are closest connection. Sideshow Raheem.
Yes, another sideshow. Sideshows.
Maybe his job is the one that was being thingied.
Filled.
Replaced. Yes, maybe this is after he left.
That would make
And
sense.
that's what Krusty's just going wild with the pies now because he's got some kind of repressed anger from being told I wouldn't. So now he just would with everybody else.
He just would with everyone else, and he just mutters to himself, "Oh, I would. Oh, I would."
Mm-hmm. To throw obnoxious Krusty is great. To just throw a pie at someone who isn't auditioning is good. And then Bob is wearing, you did say Bob was wearing large shoes, which he just has big feet.
Immediately big feet, yes. That's the funny thing, I think, about Bob and Cecil is that they're clearly genetically predisposed to be clowns. And there's very little they can do about it, and that's the joke, isn't it? Which is a better joke than Frasier, which he just seems to be what he wants to be.
Yes, they both. In Frasier, it's just two adult men snarking at each other.
And acting a bit like children, but they don't try to blow up any dams or murder anyone, so that's why it's not as good.
It's like if Chandler and Joey had brains.
Chandler.
Could I be any more Frasier?
Bob points at Lisa. Let's stop bickering and get out of here. They're in some sort of cave. Big arms, Bob. This dam could collapse at any minute. Bart arrives with a suitcase. 1 minute past sunrise, to be precise. Cecil is at the door, tossing up sticks of dynamite, and he has a gun and customary green tank top. Once I blow up this dam, there will be no evidence of missing concrete, and I'll get away with 15 million. Lisa, but everyone will know you did this. Perhaps, says Cecil, or perhaps they'll blame the master criminal. You know, the one who's been working at the dam and had a grudge against Springfield. Bob is such a great character design. He's got a nice blue shirt and red tie combo on too. Now I know this cousin Merle has had his troubles with the revenue, but he's hardly a master criminal. Oh, big eyes. You're referring to me, says Mel. Says Bob. Ka-ching.
Yes.
Cecil is pointing with the dynamite. I'm framing you, and I'm doing a really excellent job too. Bob, hands up, drooping her. Wait a minute, is this all because I got to be Krusty's sidekick instead of you? Off the record, yes, waves gun, but officially I did it for the money. Speaking of which, point a gun at Bart. Bart hides suitcase. Guilty pard hand, suitcase. Cecil backs away. Ominous. Music, high camera angle. He backs out of the room and shuts the door.
Yes, he does. My favourite line, my favourite delivery from Cecil in this series of clips is when he leaves and says "tar."
I did write tar, but I thought that was a typo at the end. I was going to say that. It actually says he backs out of the room and shuts the door. Tar.
Yes, and I like this. This is very easy storytelling, isn't it? He just
Easy, good word.
off the record, yes. Like it's just they've set up that there was no the audience probably would have got it without Bob having to say this is because I got the job as Krusty's sidekick.
I think so. You know what it reminds
But I
me
like
of?
this. I do like that now Cecil's doing what he. What does it remind you of?
It's a TV show from the 90s. I just am trying to think what it's called.
Oh yes, the one where the underground bar.
That's right. Yeah. Is it called Drinks?
I thought it was called Tar,
Drinks.
where everybody knows who you are.
Where you can get a reasonably priced drink.
Yes, flaming moles. Yeah, no, I like that Cecil now that Cecil's embraced villainy, he's got a lot more confidence in himself, which is nice. Other than Mole Man, he might be our least confident character. He certainly doesn't have the Poochie confidence.
No. He's not going back to his home planet anytime soon.
No, but he does have the confidence to say that he's doing a really excellent job.
He's interacting here with Bart and Lisa for the first time. So, and Bob, is this the first time where Bob becomes a hero and not a villain?
I believe it is. I believe they haven't done. This might be the fourth Bob episode because they started. There was I think they only do one every 2 years or so. And yeah, this is like season 8. So I would say this is Bob number 4. So the other 3 or 4 have all been straightforward. One of them was where he ran for office. One where he tried and killed Selma. Yeah, this is a nice version of that story. It's nice to see. And after this point as well, because they realised that, they want to keep bringing Bob back, but they can't necessarily just have him do the same thing every time. This is going forwards now, he's more sympathetic.
More nuanced.
Yeah, and it's sort of framed against Cecil. They're playing it off like Cecil is worse than Bob here, but he is not.
He's not, but he's pretty bad. Pretty rotten scheme, but it's no worse than any of Bob's.
No, yeah, this scheme is pretty bad, to be honest. He is trying to take out the entire town. I did forget about that. But this is sort of like a quiet maniac as opposed to Bob's everybody look at me maniac.
You know what that reminds me of? You ever seen the TV show Boy Meets World?
Yes. Boy Meets Inspiration Brain.
It's a bit like that.
Yes.
Clip 4. Cecil is on the edge of the dam. It is verdant. He has a detonator, a good old-fashioned plunger one. $15 million and a gun, he says. Check. Bart is somehow there now. He's behind him. He looks at the suitcase, clicks it shut. Bart flies through the air. No! Guess who puts his hands around Cecil's eyes? Guess who? Merris? Says Cecil. Bart takes his hard hat off and starts banging it onto Cecil's head. Cecil tries to hit him with the suitcase, and predictably the case flies open and all of the money, which looked considerably less than $15 million, floats towards the bottom of the dam. Ah, Cecil screams. Oh, shoot. He tries to grab fitfully at the last bit of money. He fails. The money floats down like a swarm of green bees. Cecil is trying to get Bart off his head. He holds Bart upside down. I'm going to do what Bob never could. Kill Bart some. But darn, if it isn't a little bit crude, says Bart, for a genius like you to throw me off the dam. Oh, says Cecil, tripped. Yes, it is. If anyone asks, I'll lie, and throws Bart off.
Yes, allowing Bob to save him, I will note. Not for any reason. They go a bit overboard with the niceness this episode for Bob and Bart. Bart is trying to stop Cecil to help Bob, and then Bob basically puts himself in a position where he might sacrifice his life to save Bart. But it's a bit extreme. They could have both just been well, I still get what I want. Bob still goes to prison / Bart still gets murdered. But the difference between Cecil and Bob is Cecil doesn't care about fame, which is interesting. Things seem to have changed now. Bob needs to be Springfield's villain, whereas Cecil is happy to do it all in secret.
Yeah, well, Cecil...
And he doesn't sort of need the smarts in the way that Bob does. He doesn't need it to be a grand master plan. He's just going to throw Bart off a cliff.
just dashing to his instant death. Cecil seems to be happier not with the fame. He just wants to be a clown. He has an intrinsic motivation to be a clown. He doesn't necessarily want to be Krusty's TV clown. That's what we find out from the bongo clip.
Yes, and this is sort of him. This would have been his only revenge, and then he would have just gone off.
Yes,
like he would have taken the money and left. It wouldn't have been I need to go back and kill Marge or something like that.
He's a villain out of necessity, not out of madness.
He certainly is. And I like the Merris line.
Is that a reference?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the most on-the-nose reference. You never see his wife in Frasier. His wife is called Merris, and it's one of those like off-screen character joke things. So you never see her or hear her. So this is just them.
Like Naveed's wife in Still Game.
Precisely, just like that. But up until this point, they were sort of, they were parodying Frasier on a tongue-in-cheek way, and this is just them throwing in that line and saying, "Oh no, he is the same character."
He's the guy from Frasier. It's kind of like they're saying that have you noticed that fella from Frasier?
Yeah, look, it's the guy.
This is before the internet, so people couldn't check that while they were watching. They'd be like, "Oh, really sounds like someone off that
and
TV
the episode
show."
is called Brother from another series.
Clip, whatever. Simpsons comic cover. Here it is. Bongo 71. We have in the background, we have Bart staring down at Bob. And in the front, we have Cecil head to head with Lisa Simpson. And it says, "Sins of the Brothers."
Yes.
Yes, and at the top it says "Second bananas no more."
Oh, that's because Lisa and Cecil are like the second best brother.
It seems that way, yeah. This was just a nice picture I thought I would throw in because it, from what I can see, and I didn't check, this is Cecil's biggest bongo appearance.
CBB.
It's the same as what they do with Bob and Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure and a few other people in the comics, that they can just have them be main characters or have them be recurring characters because they don't need voices. So this one sort of fleshes out because that's what everybody needed.
What did they do in the audiobook version of the comics?
I think they're all done by Maggie Russell.
I hope so. Ka-ching.
Yes. I would like some money for this line.
How much do you like, Maggie? Oh, $4,000 sounds about right.
Sounds exactly right. But yeah, no, it's sort of weird that they didn't just do this in the episode that he was in. Like, this seems like the more obvious choice to have it be Cecil v. Lisa.
That's a great drawing of Cecil. It's a really good one.
Yeah, I just sort of like the picture of them on this. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I'd have that poster. You got rid of the actual Simpsons comics logo and just had that picture without other stuff on it. I'd have a poster of that. No problem.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly.
That takes us on to the clip itself. How about this picture here? So it's Bob. He's in jail, and Snake and Cecil are behind, and the other guy.
"I'm new. Who's that? Dude,
Says Stick.
That's homicidal genius Sideshow Bob."
And Cecil, who seems to be dripping with some kind of goop, says,
"I'm a homicidal genius too. I almost flooded the entire town once."
Snake says,
"Bob's his brother. Wow, it's like you're Tito Jackson." "Yes."
Seethes Cecil.
"Always a Tito, never a Michael. Or even, shoulda, a LaToya."
Exactly. Solid bongo stuff.
Why is he dripping?
I've chopped the hell out of this bongo because it was essentially Cecil was in every panel pretty much. So he's been hosed down for some reason by officers Eddie and Luke.
What do you make of this face?
Very smug, very bongo. Bit of the pen and scam.
I would say I prefer the other face in the first panel more. Why does he have
it looks like
sound waves coming from him?
Yeah, it looks like he's leaning on Snake as well. Like
he's defying gravity.
He is. I like the Bob in the first panel though. I like how nonchalant he looks.
Oh yeah.
He isn't even speaking to his brother in the prison yet.
He's just looking zoned out in prison. You do 2 days. One day when you go in, one day when you come out. For Bob's.
Exactly. That third Cecil is very good. We're at the point where the bongo art is taking on a sort of world of its own.
Do you know what these pants remind me of? Like, in the 90s and early noughties, when you had them like Adidas
Oh yeah,
like popper pants. Like that's what they're reminding me of with the line down the side. Is that like
Nice.
an American jail thing?
don't know, it's a cool one. I thought
don't-
they had those orange jumpsuits in jail.
Yeah, that would have been the obvious choice, wouldn't it?
Maybe they were too hard to draw. Maybe they couldn't get enough orange ink.
He ran out of orange.
My dog's got no orange.
How does he smell?
Awful. So you go to Chief Police Wiggum, and he says Cecil Terwilliger is off screen, and Police Chief says
Cecil Terwilliger. Cecil? Cecil? Nope. Looks like we never got around to processing you. What?
says Cecil, big eyes, and smug Bob.
Well, it was a busy day.
Says Clancy,
We were booking that notorious criminal mastermind, Sideshow Bob.
and Cecil drums his lips and says, "Oh."
You're free to go, I guess. Oh, and since you weren't a prisoner, you owe us a year's rent.
He's got those lines again. Like he seems, is he?
Telepathic.
I don't know, or it's cold.
Have you ever seen the cartoons before or comics?
Yes. But what is it?
In
Like,
those, they're kind of like, they show movement. And you see a
Yes,
line
but
like
why-
that often. He's shaking his head. Can't believe it.
yeah, I'll give you that. I don't know why he looks upset with this news.
You owe us a year's rent? Or maybe that
Well,
was
the
before.
one before, like, we never got through to processing you, and he looks sort of as if that's bad news for him. Look how happy Bob is.
But he
And Bob
wants...
has beat to him as well.
Yeah, Bob doesn't speak at all, I don't think, in this comic, which again is weird because they don't need to get the voices. They just have
They
to,
can afford to do it.
yeah, it was just one more bubble of speech. But
That's the kind of
Essentially,
restraint
yeah.
we like from Bongo.
this is Cecil free. There's again like pages and pages in between this stuff of him like he
gold.
buys a lure off Dr. Colossus at one point.
Nice. I thought Colossus was an imaginary character.
That's a very big clipboard.
That is a huge
It's the
clipboard.
same size as his torso.
Clancy's got a small torso but a big clipboard. Why are they running the jail though? Why is him and Louis and Ed running the jail? Is that
I believe that's how it's always been in 2 or 3D. No, paper or print on
TV.
show. TV print.
POP.
Yes, BRB.
what to do now? Next we go to Cecil is now in a cafe which looks like a 90s TV show cafe, and he's got some people in the back who are clearly a reference to something, but I don't know what that is. And he said
What to do now? What's my next step?
he's reading Villain Monthly with Hank Scorpio on the front, and he says,
What to do now? What's my next step?
before, the reason why he's so shocked is because he wants to be a supervillain, right? And now he's been let free, so that's not good.
Oh, yeah.
The whole purpose
That
of the
makes
story.
I must step out from my brother's shadow. I need to do something that he could never accomplish. Click. That's it. I shall destroy Lisa Simpson. Ha 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 ha.
And very creepily, he has all of these things, which I guess he got from Dr. Monster or whatever his name was. And he's got all of these cameras positioned in Lisa's bedroom. It's pretty
The
dodgy
same
stuff.
Yeah, like it is strange. I didn't even think about that. So he's got this lair from Dr. Colossus, which seems to have cameras already linked up to Lisa's bedroom. And I'm pretty sure before this, he has also cameras in Bart's room, because he originally said, I'm going to kill Bart, and then cleverly thinks, no, I'll go for the easier one, even though she's probably more different. Yes, it is.
It's not okay.
Pre-established camera.
It's not
I'll let you
okay.
hazard a guess as to who those two men are in the first panel.
The Fraser Crane and Niles Crane.
Yes, indeed. And it is the cafe from Frasier, I believe.
That is a terrible drawing. Those two they're good drawings, but they're not good drawings of Fraser Crane and Niles Crane.
Is that meant to be Frasier?
Yes.
No.
Yes, that is.
Unacceptable levels of Bongo.
They should have just given him Sideshow Bob's hair.
Or like
That would have been
a
funny.
toned down version of it.
Yeah, like you might as well. It's very on the nose, isn't it? We're not the subtlety we're used to with Bongo isn't present here.
No, it's troubling and inaccurate, which is what we come to Bongo for. So now he's sneaked up with some chloroform onto these two children who seem to be spying on something with some binoculars or double telescope, if such a thing exists. He shouts,
And here I am.
and he puts handkerchiefs over both of their faces, and then says,
I forgot to put chloroform on the rags, didn't I? Sigh.
and earlier he was saying that he would only ever be Tito and not Michael, but I think it's
That's very true.
allegedly. Please don't sue us, Sony Recordings.
It seems like he's he
Not
might, if this bongo was written today, maybe he would have aimed to be more like Latoya.
I forgot to put chloroform on the rags, didn't I? Sigh as the children shrug and walk away.
Okay, just walk to the hideout.
He points. It's a good joke, but it won't fly in today's.
No, and they only get away with it with Bob and Cecil because of they have to be cartoonish and silly. That's why the clown thing works, because otherwise they are just two adult men trying to repeatedly kill the same two children.
That's grim when you think about it.
It is.
It's not acceptable.
No, that's more of a thing for the cast.
He's
We'll cut that bit.
I think most of what's been said in the last few minutes is going on the cutting room floor.
Pretty much. But yeah, we've cut a lot out here where they're on to Cecil basically, and that's his hideout. And then he's double crossed them or something, but forgot to put chloroform on the rags. But and then he's made a point of he's going after Lisa, but he's going after both of them.
So he's now
chloroform. It's like that's happened before. Like he says, like, "Oh, I forgot to put chloroform."
Oh yeah,
it's like a regular occurrence for him.
Like he's used to it now. Like, oh, I've done it. I've done it again.
It's not his first rodeo. There's a good clip in Community where they break into the building and Annie chloroforms the guard. But then he wakes up, so they have to pretend that they've all been chloroformed, but she wasn't there in the room when he was first chloroformed, so the guard asks, "Who are you?" So they have to chloroform him again, and they run away. It's a good clip.
I do remember that vividly.
So we've got
it didn't
Bart
go so well.
Now for Cecil. Bart is now tied up on a chain above some, I'm guessing, acid, and he shouts,
"So, where's Bob?"
Cecil says.
"In jail, I suspect. Honestly, do you have to bring him up? It's hard enough attempting to get out from your brother's shadow, even though you're the smarter one."
Lisa said that bit.
Amen to that.
Said Cecil. He's got all of these kind of like ray guns and acid baths around.
"But as hard as you try, do you get any attention?"
Says Lisa.
"No."
Says Cecil. Now, wagging his fingers. See, he's got those little lines.
Yes, he does.
His
hand is cold again.
Must be cold or really smelly. His hands just got really smelly.
He's cold, man.
He's pointing at Lisa and says, "No."
"Which is why I planned all this to destroy you, Lisa Simpson."
Doesn't make any sense.
What I will say here is, and this might be unfair, but the shoddy writing. It's all very
little harsh.
It is quite harsh, but it's just there was probably I suppose they've got 20 minutes to write these bongos, but it's a bit on the nose, isn't it? Like just directly talking about, oh look, hey, we have the exact same problem. It seemed to that's 3 panels that could have been condensed into one for me.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this thing. It's not snappy.
No, it's no War and Peace.
They do stretch it out to fill. You can imagine the artist walking and say, how many pages is this got to be? 25. Can we have him buying a lure for like 2 or 3 pages? Yeah, whatever, he gives a shit.
To do it. There's several more things he does to get his life back on track before all of this. And then he just settles on murdering Lisa.
Somewhat padded. And so
he says destroy as well, which is he doesn't say kill, he says destroy you.
I'm not sure they're following the logic of his plot. Now I know he's a psycho, but why would him killing the less valuable Simpsons sibling help? I'm
not sure. It's more he's trying to get back at Bob, or trying to be more thingy than Bob, isn't he? And to be fair, Lisa is the more difficult one if you're going to go for either of them. Lisa's the smart one.
Is that his logic? Are we giving him that? We think because he never explains himself. Surely he would be killing one Bart with 2 stones if he killed Bart, because he would get back at Bob and he would show that he was better than Bob.
But it looks like he's going to kill Bart too, to be honest.
Lisa then whatever that look is on her face, she gleans. That's not the word. Beams at Cecil.
"Tell me about your plan. I'd love to hear it. I intend to freeze you in liquid nitrogen and display you in a refrigerated trophy case. In the future, when I need a challenge again, I shall thaw you out."
That's a good plan.
"What do you feel is the number 1 flaw most criminal masterminds have?"
Says Lisa.
That's a poser. but I'd have to say, wasting time revealing their plans, allowing help to arrive.
Oh, monologue. A meta monologue jog. Well done.
Freeze, Cecil be debusted. Man, good one, Chief. Thanks, Eddie. I thought of it in the car on the way over. It wasn't too much.
This is unrelated to Cecil, but it's more about how do they make the choices of what words to put in bold in comics. Like, because the words that are in bold here aren't things that are you're supposed to focus on.
Emphasize. That's a poser, but I have to say, wasting time, revealing their plans, allowing help to arrive. This is a strange choice of which words to emphasize.
Well, yeah, the plan is to thaw her out. He says when he needs a challenge again, but it's not really been a challenge so far. Do you have anything to...
I really like that first panel with the...
Goofy Lisa.
Yeah, the Goofy Lisa. Pen and Skem, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
P&S.
There is a lot of lines, I've not noticed this, but around Cecil in this manga.
He's just cold.
Yeah, he is.
He has got liquid nitrogen around, so it's not going to be the warmest of rooms.
No, this one, he's cold in a kind of a round fashion.
Yes.
It's a different kind of coldness. Look at this kid. He's so cold he started to explode. Cecil be debusted.
I don't understand what that
So
means.
Cecil B. DeMille was a big Hollywood film director. So the Cecil part is in there, and so is the busted. But maybe that's the joke.
What a niche joke.
For a children's comic. Yeah.
There's a lot of references like the in Bongo that are hard to get. Not least of all this one. Exactly. Or whatever this is. Why does the drawing change in the middle? Because that's pretty good here. This stuff's good, and then it goes pretty.
Yeah, the quality goes down dramatically.
Yeah, that's strange. It seems like they stopped doing shading halfway through the comic.
It's like they've got a different artist.
They may well have done. Maybe the first one died.
Oh.
Mid-bongo.
Mid-bongo death? He's like an MDB?
Maybe they Roswelled him.
An MBD?
Maybe whoever was doing the shading asked for 4,000 more pence.
So Eddie, or Lou, whichever one he is, takes then Lisa off the hook.
You called the police before I caught you, and you were just stalling me. Yes.
Says Lisa.
You truly are brilliant. I consider myself honoured to have been bested by you, Lisa.
Says Cecil as he's being handcuffed.
Well, maybe it's the Stockholm Syndrome talking, but if I have to have a psycho arch-enemy, then I'm glad it's you. I'm no Sideshow Bob. He's no Cecil.
Says Lisa. Look at Eddie's face.
That's the worst. That's probably the worst one we've got in here.
That's a great Bongo Eddie.
I'll go on there into the pile. Yeah, I like that Cecil face though, but all this is a bit, again, it's Bongo. You've got to get through things pretty quickly.
Bongo by the numbers.
So we're already up to flattery. Like, no one's annoyed at any point. Like, no one minds that Cecil tried to kill anyone.
Well, I think Bart did. Look how angry he
Yeah,
looks.
Bart, to be fair, Bart's the only one who looks...
He looks fuming.
Yeah,
you as well.
And he's also not being let down.
Yeah, where's Wiggum in this? He could be getting Bart down.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. He's done one. He's too important for this stuff, from murders. And then we see we're in jail. Clancy's turned back up and he's taking a very happy Cecil to solitary confinement, and he goes,
Me? Solitary?
And Bob's got his head out of the things, just like Silence of the Lambs, and he's shouting,
Him? I'm the mastermind, brother here. What about me? What about me?
And he's shouting,
I have to go. I have a pub lunch booked at 1.
And Lisa, who's now receiving mail from people on death row, says, Lisa Simpson, your end is near. Something martial law. And then you got Cecil smiling while all kind of rats crawl all over him.
It's a weird ending.
No bed. No nothing.
Just rats.
It's a dark ending, and that it obviously doesn't continue or go anywhere.
Is that the first time we've seen Bob talk as well?
I think so, unless he could have had some lines in the panels that we've missed, but I don't think he did. And again, he's not talking to Cecil here. They've obviously, this must be in between. There's a lot of time between Cecil and Bob both going to prison together and then both getting back out of prison together. So there's a lot of Bob and Cecil adventures that we haven't seen, so maybe they're just not talking to each other.
Maybe the two actors have fallen out and they won't let them draw them talking to each other in the comics.
Perhaps.
That'd be a next level of petty, wouldn't it?
But I do like the fact that he's got rats crawling all over him, and Lisa's happy to have that letter.
Yeah, they're both happy with the darkest of endings. Lisa is now targeted by killers, and Cecil's had all his rights taken off him. But that's made them both. That's the happy ending they both wanted.
Oh, it was the 90s, the gritty 90s. Clip 6, season 19, episode 8, Funeral for a Friend. A badly rendered Bart is sitting and says, "Stupid Sideshow Bob, even when he's dead, he's ruining my life. I hope he's in hell eating a barf burger." Sitting on the curb, we pan to Cecil with 2 police guards. He's in a prison jumpsuit and chains. "I once felt that way too." And Bart says, "Hey, aren't you Bob's brother?" "Biologically, yes, but we never got along." Cecil sits down on the curb. "He was always zigging when I zagged. That summer when he wanted to tour the castles of Italy, I wanted to tour the castles of France. So we went to Spain. A compromise that nobody was satisfied with. That's stupid. You talk like you're smart, but you're stupid," says Bart. Worst line ever. "I choose to remember Bob. I remember Bob as the big brother who taught me to play Botticelli. Sounds boring. Oh, you'd love it. One person adopts the guise of a noteworthy. You're right, it is boring. The gag is he doesn't change."
Yes, all of this is very Bongo-esque in its writing, isn't it?
That's a good. This is a good Cecil, though.
That is a good Cecil. The barf burger line, I hate. Not a fan of that.
No.
Just don't.
It's not a good visual, is it?
No, it's not something I would see Bart saying either.
"You talk like you're smart, but you're stupid" is quite a good line, actually.
But now we're at the phase where they're trying to write Bart to sound like an annoying kid, and it sort of backfires because he is just an annoying kid saying annoying things. This is the first time we've seen Cecil since he got arrested in season 8. So it's been like 11 years.
So is this after the bongo?
Yes, because I remember buying that bongo as a kid.
11 years of solitary confinement with those rats.
Yes,
those are the stories I want to hear.
I wonder if it's the same rats.
Maybe
they lived that long.
How
long do rats live?
Don't know. Let's Google it.
Just do dogs have self-esteem?
Rats live. Brown rats 2 years, black rats 1 year. So he would have gone through a good range of rats in those years. He'd be on the 5th generation of his rat family.
Multi-generational rat torment.
I call the little
They
one
could
Bitey.
have done something. If they connected Bongo to real Simpsons, they could have done something with that. But as we know, they are 2 separate towns.
Apparently.
I think the whole thing of him, this is the setting up. He's still on Bob's side in this clip. They're sort of setting up Bart to go to Bob's coffin, but Bob is not dead. So the police people here are the parents in disguise, and Cecil is not in custody at this point. They're all just free, but it's not really established how they got out of prison.
It's a very strange scenario and setup. So they're helping Bob to fake his death?
Yeah, so I take everything that he says here with a bit of a pinch of salt because he's helping Bob. But the joke being that I zigged and he zagged, but they both do basically the exact same thing.
But
because zigging and zag would be way more, Cecil would be into sports and stuff.
Cecil wouldn't have videos of children.
Yes.
Maybe he'd work as a librarian.
Maybe.
The fact that one of them wanted to go to Italy and one wanted to go to France is kind of the joke that they're kind of the same people, right?
Yeah. I did cut out a line because it went on a bit longer, this scene, where Cecil just tells Bart to go and pay his respects to Bob or he'll regret it or some rubbish. And Cecil has a great line that I have forgotten.
Clip 8.
Oh no, he says, once I've got Bob's ashes, I'm going to go and scatter them over the castles of Italy. Take that, ashes.
That's good. That's a good line. Kind of shows that bitterness is never going away. And I think I was saying that the Bob spin-off where he was fighting with Cecil and other things, because a lot of the art is just showing them having fights, which they didn't. Did they have any actual physical fights in the show?
No, I don't believe so. There's only that one episode where they're not on the same side. The other 2 episodes he appears in, they are very clearly, like in this one, they're working together and the other one's a dream.
I do have a vague memory that's popped in that didn't they have a slap fight once?
That does sound familiar.
The slap it slapping at
do.
each other.
They do at the end of the episode, in the prison cell.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah, I've just have
Very good, very good. Clip something. Season 21, episode 8. Oh, brother, where Bart you? So we're in the park, oldie-timey. It's a dream, I think. There's some guys drinking red and blue Smith Brothers drink. Bart is in the park. Evil Bob music. We pan to Bob and Cecil. Then there's a fun version of the theme, and there are flying kites and penny farthings and Wright Brothers aeroplanes. And I asked if Cecil's sinister music is different from Bob's.
It is not, but I'm glad we got a flip where the music is in it, because that's my favourite part of Sideshow Bob, even though it is music from a different film.
Is it always the Cape Fear thing?
Yeah, because the first time they used the music was in that Cape Fear parody. They'd never used it for Sideshow Bob before, and then for some reason they just brought it back to the point now where
It's his theme.
yeah, you would watch Cape Fear and think that's the Sideshow Bob music.
They've ruined that.
Yes, but yeah, this is Bart having a dream about various types of brothers. I think he wanted a brother instead of two sisters. Side note, if Cecil was really that much of a maniac, and if he was wanted an easy job, he would have just killed Maggie.
Exactly. The least good of the Simpsons clan.
But I do
Easiest.
like that this is then saying, because Cecil and Bob worked together the last time Bart saw them, he now sees them as like a dynamic that he's kind of jealous of in a way. Like he sees them like holding hands and flying a kite in like a dream sequence.
Right.
It's also the only time we've ever seen Cecil again.
Right.
So I'm assuming back in prison. Well, he is. We leave him in prison with the family, actually.
And this was another 10 years
full clip.
ago. Another 11 years ago. So maybe he's due for another comeback.
It's very likely. Now that we've put it out there as well, we probably have a full episode with Sarah Wiggum.
You
I would hope
do
so.
this podcast does seem to manifest things within me.
I guarantee you, within the next couple of months, I will send you something saying that Cecil, like David Hyde Pierce to return. They did it with Ruth Powers. Ruth Powers came back for the first time in like 16 years last season. After we've established her as a Maud character.
Has Database ever come back?
Oh, he's always around, but Ruth Powers is like a guest voice. She's Amy Poehler's mum in Parks and Rec.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Was she always played by the same woman?
Yeah, she's called Pamela Reed. I think she's only spoke like in 4 episodes over the course of like 25 years.
Right. She's just been silent, sitting in the background and cashing those checks.
Basically, yeah. But the ironic thing is they offered her $4,000 a year. You don't need to do anything. We'll just send it to you.
Just send it to you. Just tell Maggie you're getting it.
Just make sure you let her know it's arrived.
So I've got some artwork for you. I'm going to show you about 5 or 6 and I want you to tell me which one is best. So you two, tell me what you can see here and what you think of it.
Why is he half lidded? Is he drunk?
He seems like it. So we've got like a even more cartoony version of Bob and Cecil. Sort of, I don't know what I'd call that cartoon style.
I like it.
Yeah, it's reminding me a bit of Hey Arnold.
Yeah, no, I see
like
that.
The faces, but Cecil's got his eyes. I think it's more of like an evil look, isn't it, with his like lid shut, and they're both wearing matching.
Isn't that Cecil's
outfit.
normal top?
No, that is a Bob outfit. That is his non-sideshow Bob, non-prison Bob look, I believe. But
Cecil's got shiny eyelids. Is
He
that
does.
glitter or sweat?
I do like the dark circles as well under the eyes.
These ones are pretty
Makes them look a
psycho.
bit more. Yeah, but I like it. It's good. It's
Bigger feet though. I'd like to see those feet a bit bigger.
more shading than in the back half of that bongo.
Exactly. How about this one? It's like an
I don't
anime
like
style from Virazu, Dear Brother Mine. It's probably a reference to a specific anime, maybe manga.
It looks very referential to something. Yeah, this is really creepy. The Bob, they both sort of look like teenage boys.
There's a sexual undercurrent here, and I don't like it.
Yeah, there is a little bit, isn't there? There always is with this kind of stuff.
You don't have to dig too far into the internet for it to get racy and spicy.
Is Cecil holding a gun up to Bob,
Yeah.
and Bob's holding a knife.
To his throat.
I will give them this. The long, creepy hands are very good.
I like the hair. I like how they've taken their hair and made it anime. I
He
do like
looks
that.
What's his name? From Sonic.
Sonic.
Yes. What's that hedgehog called from Sonic? Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's all right. This is.
How about this one? This is from on Tumblr. Yeah, I think they've been redrawn as young African Americans.
Yes, that I really like the Cecil hair and what
Yeah.
they've done. In fact, both hair is great, but it's sort of like if Bob and Cecil's, if they were originally characters in the TV show Atlanta and then put into The Simpsons, and it wasn't based on Frasier, then this is maybe what they would look like. I like that Bob's a bit like chubbier.
Yeah, it's also like his shirt's not quite right, is it? But then Cecil's is.
Yeah, I don't. They've not gone for the sort of matching jumpers here, but I don't know. You do see Bob in a generic shirt every now and again, but I don't think it's blue.
It's a bit of
do
a
like the
Fresh
Cecil's.
Prince, bit of a Fresh Prince dynamic going on.
Yes,
Carlton
and I
Will
like
Smith.
that side fade is cool on Cecil.
Oh,
And
that's
I do like that he's holding dynamite to just bring it back to being referential.
That's a good one.
I'd say that's my favourite so far.
Nice. This is from Garrett Strangelove. As I said, it's hard to avoid this kind of stuff on the internet, but this one is fairly innocuous.
Yeah, and it's also very random.
Is that the music teacher?
Yes, it's Mr. Dewey Largo.
What's his first name?
It's Dewey, but apparently that's when I first said
What-
it.
what's his name? Is it Dewey?
It's Dewey Largo.
Dewey Largo. And what's he doing here?
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah, that's what I said, Dewey. And he is kissing a blushing Cecil who looks taken aback.
And then
His ears are
Knuckles are
red.
blushing.
Yes, all of the knuckles are blushing, and yeah, it must be cold again because everybody's ears are red.
Exactly.
It's a strange one just because those two characters have never interacted.
Yeah, I was about to ask if they had.
Not that
So
we-
what would their connection be?
Homosexuality from the looks of things. I think Largo is gay, but there's never been anything alluding to Cecil other than his general personality. But isn't that just a rip off of
that TV
whatever
show,
that
right?
show that they're parodying is, the Friends one?
Is this the last one? No, there's a whole bunch more. 3 more. All right, let's skip through these ones. Got this little computer one.
He's got wine again. Is that a thing?
I think
That's
so.
good.
He does enjoy wine. They look like Pokemon, like the recent Pokemon games where it's like 3D.
It looks like Mick Hucknall from Simply Red.
Yes,
They've got scoliosis.
they do have scoliosis.
Never had
This
that.
is good. This is good but sad. This is Bob and Cecil fighting.
Really going for it.
Bob has really done a number on him. Well, to be fair, Bob's also got a black eye and bleeding from the mouth, so Cecil must have also hit him first, or he's walked into a rake.
There's Cecil losing teeth there.
It seems like they're really mad at each other. Bob's in blue again.
There's-
More scoliosis for Cecil.
and
Yes.
his arm's cold.
Yeah, his arm is freezing, and so is Cecil's neck.
And his bottom.
Yes. This is the best Cecil face.
Yeah, this is good.
It's a
That
good one.
captures the correct Cecil emotions, I would say.
This background's wild. Like by itself, that could be like some hippies poster.
Yes. Oh.
Here we go. From gays only on Tumblr. Underdunk Terwilligers.
I like this. I like Underdunk Terwilligers.
Oh, right. So that's his wife, isn't it?
Yeah, at some point we'll probably there's an inevitable Bobcast coming at some point, but Bob has a wife and son that are Italian, and they sometimes are there, sometimes they're not. It's very Simpsons.
So is this Bob and Cecil's mum and dad in the background?
Yes, I believe he's called Roger or Rupert. So she's called Dame Judith Underdunk Terwilliger. I know that. And they've definitely de-aged Cecil on this one. He looks like a teen, I would say there.
He looks like a teen lady.
Yes, he does a bit. He sort of looks like a millennial barista.
Yeah, he does kind of look like he's got breasts.
Yes, he does. He's stacking. Top shelf. And we've only seen him so far with dynamite or wine.
Yeah, there's no. Oh wait, he had a gun in one of them.
Oh yes.
Oh, Winemite. And here's
Winemite.
here's the last one. Oh no, there's 2 more. Here's the last one, in which is somebody who said this was a cosplay on Twitter. I don't know if it's an intentional cosplay.
It doesn't seem like
No,
it is.
there's no connection at all.
No, I wouldn't have got anything from that.
Unintentional
If anything-
cosplay, you see.
He looks more like Nelson of anything.
Yeah, he does.
I'm giving it to them. I'm giving to Son Parasidos on Twitter. You can have that one.
What I
No.
will give to that person in that picture is neck upwards. It's all the same length, like a finger. Other than that, no Cecil.
Last one. I didn't write the name of this one, but It's
Excellent,
creepy.
spooky.
I like that one.
This is like another anime-ish or like Pixar-y kind of looking drawing, and
Pixar,
Cecil's missing half of his face.
The feet are proportional as well.
Yes, they are. I don't know why Cecil is missing half of his face. Is it anywhere else in the image? No.
I think he's meant to be in shadow.
I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That makes more sense. I looked at it like a Phantom of the Opera kind of setup.
Bob's got some nice nail polish.
Yeah, Bob has nail varnish on, which is
and
fun.
Claws. And is it a Saw reference? I don't know. It just seems Sawish.
I don't know. It seems like it's a reference to something.
Okay, you got to choose the one that you would put on your wall. Do you have round ones, anime ones, Fresh Prince ones, Largo kissing, Pokemon, punching, Underdog Terwilligers, cosplay, or Saw?
I'm going to go either that last one, the Saw one, or the third one, like the Fresh Prince one.
Going for either the Atlanta Fresh Prince version, or you're going for that one, the Saw one?
Yes.
Natalie, what about you?
I'm tossed up between that one, the Saw one, and the very first one with the shiny eyelids.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Well, the truth is that I bought them both for you as non-fungible items, so you can have them all. None of it's fungible. None of it. I'll get you a non-fungible phone so you can do that as well. So,
excellent.
Shall we finish with the song?
Let's do it. Which one was your favourite?
I like that one, the Fresh Prince one, and I kind of like that one, that badly rendered for Microsoft Paint version with the hippie background. I like it.
If I was going to hang one in my house, though, it would be the cosplay one for obscurity.
Nice. All right, who's going first?
I'll go first. Cecil is desaid, a clown next Bombex.
Driving brother default CC Oog.
Difficult to shift gears.
Thorat Cecil sang royalty.
Icky Lord Crusty to jump.
Clocks per minute, they are.
There will be no evident off missing concrete.
But Lisa, but everyone will now.
Perhaps they'll blame criminal.
No, I know cousin him, Merle. We ate.
Oints, the door.
Cruci de DI oints to the door.
Predictably, the case flee open and the money were clocks considerably.
Detonator, Gion, Cecil's predictability.
Simpsons, again Rusi. Somsoms.
Rudel rendered bar.
Biologic Valley.
Plebivot Silly, Sund.
Night were rather.
Right, Aeroplan.
Imonito. The end.
The end. We made it.
Well
Breathing clue for myself, I only apologise.
It's all going to be edited. Zaz will make it work. It's got to cut that Michael Jackson bit out in the middle. We'll be all right.
Yes.
All right, gotta go. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Zazla. Take it easy. It's criminal mastermind, chief hydrological and hydrodynamical engineer. A music friendship employee.
Okay, all right.
1 second.
I think it's a good start so far.
Yeah, Natalie's mum's just turned up.
With a dog. I don't know. I just like him. What appeals to you two, NBM and Zaz, about Cecil Terwilliger?
Insert audio here. I also
is she not there? I thought she'd come back.
Yeah, she will be back at some point, but we'll just carry. I'll just get her to record some things for that.
Okay.
We'll make this work. We have NBM back.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
It was such bad timing.
That's all right. Nathan's gone to the toilet in the middle, so